At the very southern tip of Europe, where the Mediterranean Sea meets the Atlantic Ocean, lies a rocky peninsula that has captured the imagination of travelers for centuries. Gibraltar, with its soaring limestone cliffs and commanding views across the Strait, is more than just a landmark on a map. It is a crossroads of cultures, histories, and natural wonders, where ancient myths and modern life intertwine in a surprisingly small space. From the top of its iconic rock, you can gaze out to Africa shimmering on the horizon, while below winding streets echo with a blend of voices and traditions. British red postboxes stand near Moorish fortifications. Spanish rhythms flow through the air, and the scent of Mediterranean cuisine drifts from lively cafes. Gibraltar is both familiar and unique, a place that feels like many worlds folded into one. This story invites you to drift slowly through Gibraltar's layers, from its quiet gardens and seaside vistas to its labyrinthine caves and bustling town squares. Along the way, you will encounter echoes of the past, whispers of seafaring legends, and glimpses of wildlife that make this small peninsula extraordinary. As the day turns to night in these woods, let Gibraltar's calm presence guide you gently into rest. Welcome to Bedtime Travel Stories, where soothing tales and gentle narrations take you on a tranquil journey through the world's most enchanting places, right from the comfort of your bed. Unwind and travel with us as we explore the globe one story at a time, helping you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep. Rising more than 400 meters above the sea, the Rock of Gibraltar dominates the horizon like a watchful guardian. Its sheer limestone cliffs, softened by pockets of greenery, have stood for millennia, bearing witness to countless ships passing through the narrow strait below. As evening light drapes the stone in warm hues of gold and amber, the rock's presence feels timeless, steady and reassuring, a landmark that has guided sailors and storytellers alike. Climbing the winding paths that lead to the summit is both a physical and meditative journey. With each step upward, the bustle of the town recedes, replaced by birdsong and the rustling of wind in the brush. The higher you climb, the more the horizon expands until the strait stretches out like a ribbon, linking two great continents. The sense of being at a crossroads of the world becomes tangible, as if the earth itself has paused to take a deep breath here. At the summit, the view is breathtaking yet peaceful. To the north, the rolling hills of Andalusia fade into the distance. To the south, across the sparkling waters, lies the rugged outline of Morocco. Beneath your feet, Gibraltar itself is revealed, a blend of tightly packed streets, sunlit harbor, and military fortifications, all clustered around the base of the towering stone. This perspective is not just geographical, but symbolic, connecting worlds and cultures in a single panorama. The Rock has long been a place of myth and legend. The ancient Greeks believed it was one of the pillars of Hercules, marking the edge of the known world. Beyond lay the great unknown, a mysterious ocean feared as much as it was revered. Standing on the summit today, The idea that this was once seen as the edge of human possibility brings a quiet sense of wonder, reminding us how small yet adventurous humanity has always been. Nature flourishes here in surprising ways. Among the shrubs and rocky outcrops live the famous Barbary macaques, Europe's only wild monkeys. They scamper across paths and perch on walls, curious but calm, often pausing to watch the human visitors as much as they are watched in return. Sharing this elevated perch with them adds a playful note to the solemn grandeur of the rock, as though nature refuses to let the place become too austere. The skies above often fill with soaring birds, carried by thermal winds. Migratory species pause here on their long journeys between continents, making the rock both a sanctuary and a vantage point. To stand still and watch their effortless glides across the sky is to feel the rhythm of the natural world passing overhead, echoing the very role of Gibraltar as a resting place between lands. Even on breezy days, the atmosphere at the top remains gentle. The winds bring scents of salt and wild herbs, mixing the sea and the mountain into a single breath. Looking out, the endless horizon dissolves time and distance, inviting quiet reflection. In moments like these, the rock feels less like a monument of stone and more like a companion to meditation. As night begins to fall, the sea mirrors the colors of the fading sky, indigo deepening into velvet darkness. Lights begin to flicker in the town below, while the rock itself stands in silhouette against the stars. From this height, the sense of being suspended between earth and sky is profound, a reminder of how vast and beautiful the world can be, even when viewed from a single place. Descending the paths once more, the rock leaves a lasting impression, not only as a natural wonder but as a symbol of endurance. Its presence has shaped Gibraltar's history, culture, and identity, and continues to do so quietly without words. To experience the rock is to touch something eternal, and as you carry that memory with you, it becomes a part of your own story. At the base of the Great Rock, Gibraltar's town unfolds like a mosaic of cultures, each tile reflecting a piece of its long history. Narrow streets weave between pastel-colored buildings, their balconies draped with flowers that catch the afternoon sun. Red British postboxes stand at corners, reminders of colonial heritage, while Moorish arches and Spanish shutters hint at the influences that have shaped this place over centuries. The result is a town that feels at once familiar and foreign, a blend that welcomes every traveler. Casemates Square at the heart of town is often the first stop for visitors. Once a military ground, it is now a lively plaza filled with cafes where tables spill out onto the stone pavement. Locals and travelers linger over coffee or a glass of wine, watching the ebb and flow of life around them. The square hums with gentle conversation, laughter, and the occasional music drifting from a street performer, giving it an atmosphere both vibrant and soothing. The market nearby fills the air with scents of Mediterranean cuisine. Fresh bread bakes in small ovens, while fishmongers offer the day's catch glistening under shaded stalls. Spanish olives, British pies, Moroccan spices. Each table carries flavors from the wider world. Sampling these offerings becomes a way of tasting Gibraltar's identity itself, a crossroads where cultures meet not only in history books, but in every meal. Shops tucked along side streets reveal treasures both expected and surprising. British-style bookshops stand next to boutiques, offering Andalusian fabrics, while duty-free stores sell perfumes and chocolates sought by travelers. The blending of influences extends beyond the shelves. English, Spanish, and Arabic words mingle in casual conversations overheard on every corner. This linguistic symphony adds texture to the experience, reminding you that Gibraltar is not one thing, but many things together. The Cathedral of St. Mary the Crowned stands with a quiet dignity on Main Street. Its foundations date back to a mosque of the Moorish period, later transformed into a Christian place of worship, and its walls carry the stories of faith through centuries of change. Inside, the cool air and muted light create a sanctuary from the world outside. Sitting for a moment in the pews, one can feel the weight of continuity, as if the building itself whispers of resilience. Not far away, the Moorish castle keeps its watch from a hillside. Its weathered walls, built in the 8th century, rise above the rooftops, bearing the marks of sieges and centuries of guardianship. To climb its steps and look out over the town is to sense the enduring spirit of this place. Though time has passed and empires have shifted, the stones still stand strong, keeping their silent vigil. Every street carries details that invite pause. Bright shutters against whitewashed walls, wrought iron balconies catching the sea breeze, and street lamps that glow warmly as evening falls. Walking slowly here, you notice how life continues in quiet rhythms. A cat resting in a doorway, an old man greeting a friend in Spanish before switching to English, a child laughing as he chases pigeons across the square. Each moment is ordinary yet timeless. Food remains a constant companion. A plate of calentita, a simple yet comforting chickpea flour dish, might be enjoyed at a local cafe, followed by a slice of bread pudding with English roots. To taste them is to feel the blending of lands across the strait and across the sea. Every bite holds the memory of trade, migration, and adaptation, carried forward in flavors as much as in history. As the town's lights begin to glow, Gibraltar feels both lively and restful. The hum of conversation softens. The aroma of evening meals drifts into the streets, and the rock looms gently above, silhouetted against the fading sky. Walking through these streets at dusk brings a sense of calm belonging, as though the town itself is a living story that continues to unfold with each passing day. Beneath the towering rock lies a hidden world of wonder. St. Michael's Cave, a vast network of limestone chambers and tunnels, has been shaped over thousands of years by slow, patient drips of water. Entering the cave is like stepping into another realm, where light and shadow dance across stalactites and stalagmites that glimmer with quiet majesty. The air is cool, damp, and still, a gentle contrast to the warmth of the Mediterranean sun outside. Legends swirl around this subterranean space. Ancient stories once claimed the cave stretched all the way beneath the sea to Africa, a secret passage between continents. Though no such tunnel exists, the myth lingers, adding mystery to the already surreal formations. Standing inside with the rock towering silently overhead, it is easy to believe such tales could hold truth. Today, the cave serves not only as a natural wonder, but as a cultural stage. Concerts are often held here, where music reverberates through the chambers with haunting clarity. A single violin note seems to fill every crevice, wrapping visitors in sound that feels both otherworldly and intimate. To sit in the audience is to merge with the stone itself, becoming part of an echo that began thousands of years ago. The main chamber glows under carefully placed lights. Shades of green, blue, and violet highlight the intricate textures of the rock, giving the formations a dreamlike aura. Each stalactite and stalagmite seems to hold a personality, frozen mid-gesture, as if they are silent guardians watching over the cavern. In the dim glow, time feels suspended. Exploring deeper, smaller passages branch away like veins through stone. These narrower tunnels reveal quiet alcoves where the only sound is the gentle drip of water. In these hidden corners, the cave feels deeply personal, a place where the earth itself seems to whisper softly to those who pause and listen. Archaeological discoveries here reveal that humans have long been drawn to these depths. Ancient artifacts suggest the cave was once used as shelter, sanctuary, and perhaps even a sacred site. To imagine people gathered here by flickering torchlight thousands of years ago is to feel a connection across time where past and present share the same silence. Nature, too, continues its slow artistry. Mineral-rich water leaves delicate trails of calcite, building new formations drop by drop. Though the changes are imperceptible in a single lifetime, the cave is always evolving. To witness this process is to understand patience on a grand scale, a reminder of how the smallest actions, repeated endlessly, can shape something extraordinary. Returning toward the entrance, the outside world feels distant. The shift from shadowed stone to open sky is a gentle awakening, like emerging from a dream. Yet the memory of the cave lingers, its echoes carried within like a quiet hum, reminding you of the hidden depths beneath the rock of Gibraltar. As evening settles, the thought of St. Michael's Cave remains a soothing presence. It is a place where myth and reality blur, where music and silence coexist, and where the earth itself becomes a storyteller. To visit is to carry away not only the memory of beauty, but the calm of being cradled by stone. High on the rock, where winding paths open onto sunlit ledges, a different kind of guardian makes its home. The Barbary macaques, small yet bold, are the only wild monkeys in Europe, and they have become as much a part of Gibraltar's identity as the cliffs themselves. Their presence adds a playful energy to the rugged heights, a reminder that nature and history live side by side here. Watching them move across the stones, one cannot help but smile at their curious charm. The macaques live in close-knit groups, their social bonds visible in every gentle grooming and shared glance. Young ones scamper about with boundless energy, leaping between rocks while the elders sit calmly, surveying the world from their lofty vantage points. To see them silhouetted against the vast horizon is to witness a community woven into the very fabric of the rock, each generation passing its quiet rhythms to the next. Stories surround these animals, tying them to the fate of Gibraltar itself. A popular legend says that as long as the macaques remain, Gibraltar will stay under British rule. During the Second World War, when their numbers dwindled, Winston Churchill ordered new groups to be brought from North Africa, ensuring that the legend lived on. Whether myth or truth, the tale has bound people and macaques together in a shared destiny. Despite their fame, the macaques remain wild creatures, best admired from a respectful distance. They are clever and opportunistic, known to sneak a piece of fruit or shiny object from an unsuspecting visitor. Yet their mischief is light-hearted, a small reminder that not everything on the rock is solemn. In their antics lies a touch of joy that brightens the stone's grandeur. Observing them closely reveals subtler beauty. Their fur catches the light in shades of gold and brown. Their face is expressive with curiosity, mischief, or calm thought. They pause often, as if reflecting on the same views humans admire, gazing across the strait with a stillness that feels almost meditative. In those moments, it is hard not to wonder if they too feel the weight of the rock's presence. The macaques share the heights with migratory birds and resilient plants, part of a delicate ecosystem that has adapted to the cliffs. To walk among them is to enter into this living world, where each creature, each shrub clinging to stone, contributes to the sense of balance. The rock is not only a fortress of stone, but a sanctuary of life, held together by countless small stories. Visitors often leave with lasting impressions of the macaques. Perhaps it is their confidence, their human-like gestures, or the way they carry on with life, regardless of who watches. They remind us that while humans have shaped Gibraltar with walls and fortifications, nature still claims it in quiet and enduring ways. Evening on the rock often finds the macaques resting in clusters, the day's energy giving way to calm. They sit close, bodies pressed together, watching the colors shift in the sky as the sun sets behind the hills. This simple image of animals at peace on a great stone ridge lingers in the mind, softening the grandeur with warmth. As night falls, the memory of the macaques remains as much a part of Gibraltar as its cliffs and caves. They are storytellers in their own way, carrying legends on their shoulders, while reminding us of the joy found in play, family, and stillness. In their presence, Gibraltar feels alive, not only as a place of stone, but as a home filled with gentle, enduring spirits. Standing at the southern edge of the peninsula, the view stretches across one of the most storied waterways in the world. The Strait of Gibraltar, only a few miles wide at its narrowest point, is where two great continents almost touch. Here, the Atlantic Ocean flows into the Mediterranean Sea, creating currents that swirl and shift like a living tapestry. To look across the water is to feel the immense weight of history. Traders, explorers, and empires have all passed through this channel, leaving invisible trails upon the waves. The horizon reveals the silhouette of Morocco, faint but unmistakable. Its mountains rise gently out of the haze, reminding travelers how close Africa truly is. From this vantage point, one can sense the interconnectedness of the world. Lands that might seem distant on a map are revealed to be neighbors in reality. The strait becomes not a divider but a bridge, carrying stories, goods, and ideas between continents. Throughout history, the waters here have been both a challenge and a gateway. Ancient sailors feared the powerful currents and unpredictable winds, yet they also relied on this passage to reach new horizons. The Pillars of Hercules, as the Greeks called Gibraltar, and its twin peak across the water, marked the edge of the known world. Passing through them was both an act of courage and a step into the unknown. Today, ships still pass constantly through the strait. Cargo vessels glide steadily. Ferries cross with passengers bound for Tangier or Algeciras, and fishing boats dot the waves. Watching them move is like observing the heartbeat of global trade, steady and ceaseless. Yet despite this activity, the strait often retains a sense of calm beauty, its surface shimmering under the Mediterranean sun. Wildlife thrives in these waters as well. Dolphins are often seen leaping alongside boats, their sleek bodies glistening in the light. Migratory whales pass through, following ancient routes that connect oceans. The sight of such creatures moving freely across the boundary between seas brings a sense of awe, as though nature itself acknowledges no borders. The cliffs above provide perfect vantage points to watch the play of light on the water. At dawn, the strait glows with soft pink and silver, while at dusk it deepens into shades of indigo and gold. Each hour offers a new perspective, yet always the same reminder. This narrow channel holds a vastness within it, both in nature and in meaning. Legends whisper across these waters too. Sailors once told of sea monsters lurking here, guardians of the threshold between seas. Others spoke of lost ships swallowed by sudden storms. Standing at the edge today, the myths feel less like fantasy and more like echoes of the awe that generations have felt when faced with such a powerful, mysterious place. To sit quietly by the shore watching the tides shift is to feel time itself slow. The waves roll in steady rhythm, carrying memories from countless ages. The strait has seen everything: wars, trade, migration, myth, yet it remains constant, a patient witness to human endeavors. Its constancy is soothing, a reminder that while history changes, the sea endures. As evening deepens, the lights of Morocco and Spain begin to twinkle across the darkening water. Ships move like lanterns between worlds, their paths glowing faintly on the sea. the Strait becomes a place of quiet wonder, bridging continents under the soft gaze of the stars. In its presence, the vastness of the world feels both humbling and beautifully close. At the southernmost tip of Gibraltar lies Europa Point, where land yields to the sea in a dramatic meeting of stone and water. From here, the views stretch endlessly. The open expanse of the Mediterranean to one side, the rolling Atlantic to the other, and across the strait, the shadowy peaks of Morocco rising with quiet dignity. Standing here, the sensation is one of openness and vastness, as though the whole world converges on this single edge. The Trinity lighthouse, painted in bold red and white, keeps its watch at the point. For generations, its light has guided sailors navigating the powerful currents below. Against the backdrop of sea and sky, the lighthouse feels both humble and noble, a symbol of safety on a coastline where land and water have long tested the courage of mariners. Nearby stands the Ibrahim al-Ibrahim Mosque, a gift from King Fahd of Saudi Arabia. Its white domes and elegant minaret gleam in the sun, one of the largest mosques in a non-Muslim country. The mosque's presence adds to Europa Point's sense of harmony, where cultures and faiths coexist in shared reverence for this meeting place of worlds. The sound of the call to prayer drifting across the sea air blends with the cries of seabirds, creating a moment of profound stillness. History whispers here too. The shrine of Our Lady of Europe, once a mosque and later a Christian chapel, continues to offer a place of reflection. Its modest stone walls face the sea, a reminder of Gibraltar's layered past and the spiritual significance people have long attached to this point. Pilgrims, travelers, and seafarers have all paused here seeking blessings before venturing into the vast waters beyond. The sea itself is a constant companion at Europa Point. Waves crash against the rocks in steady rhythm, their sound both powerful and soothing. On windy days, the spray carries high into the air, while calmer weather transforms the water into a mirror of the sky. Each mood of the sea adds a different note to the symphony of the point, offering endless variations on beauty. Wildlife thrives along the cliffs. Seabirds circle overhead, their cries sharp and clear, while migratory species pause here before crossing the strait. Watching them ride the wind, one is reminded of the ceaseless movement of life across borders, guided only by instinct and the promise of distant shores. Europa Point has always been more than geography. It is a threshold, where journeys begin and end, where continents nearly touch, and where the human spirit feels the pull of both the known and the unknown. To stand here is to feel at once small and deeply connected, as though the sea itself has drawn you into its embrace. As the sun lowers, the lighthouse begins its quiet work, casting its beam across darkening waters. The mosque glows softly in twilight, while the shrine remains a silent witness. Together, they embody Gibraltar's essence, a harmony of cultures, histories, and faiths held together by stone and sea. Nightfall deepens, and Europa Point becomes a place of pure stillness. The stars emerge above, reflected faintly on the water below, while the lighthouse continues its eternal vigil. In this meeting of sky, land, and sea, the listener feels gently held, as though the edge of the world itself is inviting them into rest. Carved deep into the rock of Gibraltar lies a labyrinth of passages that tell a story of endurance and ingenuity. The great siege tunnels, hewn by hand in the late 18th century, wind through the stone like veins of determination. These tunnels were not mere shelters, but defenses born of necessity, created during one of Gibraltar's most testing moments, the Great Siege of 1779 to 1783. Walking their length today, one senses the echoes of soldiers who once stood guard here. The air inside is cool and still, carrying the faint scent of stone. Rough walls bear the marks of chisels and hammers, evidence of the tireless labor that shaped them. Each chamber opens onto narrow windows cut into the cliff face, where cannons once aimed outward toward enemy ships and fortifications. The ingenuity of their design, firing positions high above the strait, made Gibraltar nearly unassailable. History comes alive in these dim corridors. Plaques and exhibits recall the siege, when combined French and Spanish forces sought to reclaim the rock from the British. Supplies were scarce, morale was strained, yet the garrison endured, holding fast through 4 years of blockade and bombardment. These tunnels, carved from desperation, became symbols of resilience, their stone walls infused with the strength of human will. Light filters softly through the openings, revealing views of the sea and distant hills. To stand at one of these embrasures, gazing out across the strait, is to share the perspective of soldiers from centuries past. The world outside appears vast and calm now, but one can almost imagine the smoke of cannon fire drifting on the wind, the thunder of battle replaced today by the gentle sigh of waves. The tunnels extend further, branching into new galleries added in later years. During the Second World War, they were expanded to shelter troops and command centers. Layers of history overlap here, each generation leaving its mark in stone. In these passages, time feels compressed, as though centuries of vigilance coexist within a single breath. Walking slowly, one hears only the sound of footsteps echoing on the stone floor. The quiet becomes part of the experience, a kind of meditation on endurance. The tunnels no longer serve as fortifications, but their presence remains powerful, reminding visitors that peace is never to be taken for granted. The strength that once held the rock firm has softened into calm reflection. Occasional displays show replicas of cannons and uniforms, offering glimpses into the daily lives of those who once lived within these walls. One imagines the soldiers huddled here, sharing rations, writing letters home, or simply waiting, listening to the distant sounds of conflict. Their presence lingers, not as ghosts but as memories etched into the stone like the marks of their tools. As the path turns back toward the entrance, the sea breeze filters in, mingling with the cool air of the tunnels. The contrast is striking. The openness of the horizon against the confined strength of the rock. Emerging into daylight feels like a rebirth, a reminder of the peace that follows endurance. The siege tunnels remain more than historic artifacts. They are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, proof that even in moments of greatest trial, ingenuity and determination can carve sanctuary from stone. To walk their length is to carry away not only knowledge of history, but also a quiet admiration for the persistence of those who came before. High above the bustle of the town lies the Upper Rock Nature Reserve, a sanctuary of greenery and calm. Here winding paths lead through macaque scrub, olive trees and wildflowers that bloom against the backdrop of stone. The air is filled with the scent of herbs warmed by the sun, thyme, rosemary and lavender, mingling with the salty breath of the sea. It feels as though the rock itself is exhaling, inviting visitors to share in its peaceful rhythm. Birdsong accompanies every step. Gibraltar is a resting point for countless migratory species, and in spring and autumn, the skies fill with wings. Falcons circle gracefully above the cliffs, while small warblers flit between branches, adding flashes of movement to the stillness. To pause here and listen is to become part of a living orchestra, with nature conducting a performance as old as time. The reserve holds traces of history as well as nature. Old military batteries and watchtowers stand quietly among the trees, softened by moss and wild grasses. These remnants remind visitors that the rock has always been both fortress and sanctuary, its dual roles preserved in stone and memory. To walk past them is to feel the blending of human endeavor and natural endurance. One of the reserve's highlights is the Mediterranean Steps, a steep pathway carved into the cliffs. The climb is demanding but rewarding, offering sweeping views of sea and sky at every turn. With each step, the sense of separation from the town below grows stronger, replaced by a connection to the vast horizon. At the top, the view is breathtaking, a panorama where continents, oceans, and history converge. Wildflowers paint the slopes in gentle hues. In spring, orchids appear in delicate clusters, their forms intricate and fleeting. Butterflies drift among them, their wings catching the light as they move from bloom to bloom. These small, quiet details add softness to the grandeur of the cliffs, reminding visitors that beauty often lies in the smallest corners. The reserve is also home to hidden caves and grottos, less grand than St. Michael's but no less intriguing. Their shadows offer cool respite from the sun, while their silence amplifies the sounds of the outside world, birdsong, waves, and wind. Entering one feels like stepping into the rock's secret heart, a reminder of the mysteries that still lie within. As the afternoon light softens, the reserve becomes bathed in golden tones. The cliffs glow warmly, the trees cast long shadows, and the sea sparkles like scattered jewels below. It is a place where time slows, where each breath feels fuller, and where the vastness of the world is both humbling and comforting. Travelers often linger here until sunset, watching as the sky transforms into layers of orange, pink, and purple. From the heights, the lights of Gibraltar twinkle faintly below, while the stars begin to pierce the darkening sky above. The reserve, so full of life by day, becomes serene and contemplative by night. The Upper Rock Nature Reserve is more than a collection of paths and viewpoints. It is the rock's living soul, where nature, history, and myth converge in harmony. To wander here is to feel deeply grounded and yet uplifted, carried gently by the timeless presence of land and sea. At the foot of the rock, Gibraltar's harbor stretches out like a calm mirror, cradling ships of every kind. Fishing boats rest beside sleek yachts, while ferries and cargo vessels glide steadily in and out of port. The water glimmers in the light, reflecting both the masts that rise into the sky and the stone cliffs that watch silently above. This meeting of sea and shore feels timeless, a place where commerce and calm coexist. Ocean Village, a modern marina complex, adds a vibrant note to the harbor's character. Its boardwalks are lined with restaurants and cafes, their terraces spilling out toward the water. At night, strings of lights shimmer across the surface, casting the marina in a warm glow. The atmosphere here is lively yet relaxed, where the sounds of laughter and clinking glasses blend with the gentle lapping of waves. Food is a central part of the harbor's charm. Restaurants serve a blend of flavors that mirror Gibraltar's cultural tapestry. British fish and chips, Spanish tapas, Moroccan tagines, and Italian pastas all find their place on the menus. To sit at an outdoor table and savor fresh seafood while watching boats sway in their berths is to enjoy a simple but lasting pleasure. Each dish tastes of both the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, seasoned with history. The marina is also a place of leisure. Sailboats set out from its docks, their sails catching the wind as they head toward the open waters of the Strait. Some return at sunset, their masts outlined in gold as they glide quietly home. The sight of these vessels, small against the vast horizon, evokes a sense of freedom and adventure balanced by the safety of returning to harbor. Nearby, the historic South Mole contrasts with the modern marina. Once a vital fortification, it still juts into the sea with quiet strength. Walking along its stones offers views both of the bustling port and the open water, a perspective that ties past and present together. Here, the harbor's role as both shield and gateway becomes clear. Wildlife finds its place in the waters too. Dolphins often appear near the harbor's edge, their sleek forms breaking the surface with playful grace. Seabirds wheel overhead, their cries carrying on the wind, while the occasional glimpse of a fish jumping reminds visitors that this is not only a human space but a living ecosystem. As evening deepens, Ocean Village comes alive with soft music. The glow of lanterns reflects in the water, and the sound of gentle conversation drifts across the boardwalks. The marina becomes a place of gathering and ease, where locals and visitors alike slow their steps to match the calm rhythm of the sea. Walking along the water's edge, one feels the harbor's dual nature, both practical and poetic. It is a place where goods arrive and depart, where ships set sail for distant shores, and where people gather to share meals and laughter. It holds within it the spirit of Gibraltar, a crossroads that never loses its warmth. By nightfall, the harbor sparkles like a constellation mirrored on the sea. The rock rises in silhouette behind it, timeless and still, while the marina glows with life. Together they create a balance of old and new, quiet and lively, stone and water. To stand here at the close of day is to feel Gibraltar's embrace, gentle and enduring. As night settles fully over Gibraltar, the rock takes on a quiet majesty. Its limestone cliffs, now dark silhouettes, rise gently against the silver glow of the moon. The sea below shimmers in pale light, each wave a soft reflection of the stars above. In the stillness, the bustling energy of the day gives way to serenity, as though the whole peninsula has paused to rest. The town lies calm beneath the rock's shadow. Street lamps cast pools of golden light along narrow lanes, while the last conversations from cafes drift into the night air. From the harbor, the glow of Ocean Village sparkles like lanterns on water, their reflections mingling with the lights of ships that move steadily across the strait. The distant coast of Africa twinkles faintly, a reminder of how close the world is at this narrow meeting of seas. In this moment, Gibraltar feels timeless, a place where cultures, histories, and landscapes converge in harmony. From the macaques on the cliffs to the quiet of St. Michael's Cave, from the enduring fortifications to the lively harbor, each layer of the rock tells a story of endurance and connection. To rest here under moonlight is to carry those stories gently into dreams where stone, sea, and sky embrace the traveler with calm. We hope you enjoyed today's serene journey and found peace in our gentle narration. Do join us next time as we make a relaxing visit to another of the world's most iconic places. Sweet dreams and safe travels until we meet again.